Right. My son Shane Dorfman's 40th anniversary of his karate career. So where do we start? How do I express my feelings about him and mention some of his achievements? I suppose the best place to start is the beginning. Prior to Shane being born, I had a dream. I dreamt that I would have a son who would be an outstanding karateka and that who would achieve so much in the international sphere. So, at the beginning, Shane was about 4 years old, 5 years old. He begged me to do karate. I wouldn't let him. I wanted that hunger to build up within him. He used to lie on the floor at the edge of the dojo with his feet in the reception area, watching the class. And then I had a wall between that reception area, half a wall, between that reception area and the dojo, and suddenly he would disappear. I would look over the wall, because his height wasn't as high as the wall, and there he was practicing what he saw me teaching my students. Anyway, 5 years, 11 months old, January 1981, I gave him permission. I was so hard on him that first class. I was even sad how hard I was, but I needed to make a point. The point being is, how hard did Shane want me to train him? I was very hard on him and very nice to all the other kids in the class. After the class, I took him into the home, put him on my knee and said, "Shane, I was very hard on you, wasn't I?" With a little bit of tears in his eyes, he said, "Yes." I said, "And I was so nice to all the other kids, wasn't I?" He said, "Yes." So I said, "Well, you see all those kids that I'm so nice to? They will never make it to the top. If you want to make it to the top, is that what you want to be?" The answer, of course, was yes. I said, "Then I have to treat you very hard on the floor and take you to the limits of what you are capable of. What do you want me to do with you? What do you want to be?" He says, "I want to be the best." Okay. I said, "Well, how do I make you the best?" He said, "You'll have to be hard on me." That was the go-ahead. I was so hard on him as a child and as a teenager. And initial stage of his competition career, he was pretty good. But it took him 1 year of being beaten at South African Championships, age 7, to get to the age of 8 and never ever, from the age of 8 till the age of 28, ever not be South African champion, either JKA or All Stars. After the age of 18, where at that age he was South African JKA Grand Champion, he had an illustrious international and world career. 7-time KWF World Champion, 3 of them Grand Champion. But there are 2 tournaments that stand out in my mind as being highlights. One as a child, one as an adult. The one as a child, I took him to Japan at the age of 11. One little blonde-haired kid among a myriad of little black-haired Japanese children. You looked down and all you saw were black heads, and somewhere in the middle there was this little blonde head. Result? Shane became the first Westerner ever to win an All Japan JKA championships. The fact that it was junior changed nothing. He was the first Westerner ever, junior or senior, to win an All Japan title. The next highlight for me was in 2005. Now, Shane had been many times KWF world champion, our organization, run by the legend Mikio Yahara Sensei. World-renowned, everybody in karate knows Mikio Yahara. A Budo tournament where you had to virtually fight for your life. And your kata couldn't just be a showpiece, it had to have meaning. That was the one that Shane, as I mentioned before, won 7 times. But in 2005, he entered what was probably the highest level tournament karate in the Shotokan world. The WISCA, World Shotokan Karate Do Association World Championships, which was held in Chicago. Shane cruised through this championships. He beat everybody so comfortably on the way, and amongst them were WKF world champions, European champions. The title was his. And what put a lump in my throat was that he didn't forget his roots. End of the fight, he had been declared victor. He bowed to his opponent. He bowed to the referee. And he turned round in front of a huge stadium towards me and bowed to me, his sensei. That, I thought, was fantastic. In his moment of glory, he didn't forget how he got there. Now, when I say how he got there, it's teamwork. Me as his sensei, me as his father. His talent, but most important, his drive and his desire to achieve. As regards his Dan levels, at the age of 11, he graded to Shodan, first Dan, under the late chief instructor, Masatoshi Nakayama Sensei. Nakayama Sensei's words after Shane's grading was, well, if this is the standard from South Africa has nothing to worry about. I was so proud. Incidentally, that was the same grading where I received my 6th Dan, my Rokudan, from Nakayama Sensei. Sadly, Nakayama Sensei died the following year. Shane went through all his Dan gradings pretty comfortably. In most cases, the youngest person ever to have got that grade from a mainline Japanese association. And 7th Dan was an interesting experience. Prior to the grading, Shane was actually younger than regulations allowed. Mikio Yahara Sensei called the whole Shihankai, the master board, together and proposed that Shane be able to do the 7th Dan grading. He asked the permission of each member of the Shihankai. Not me, I recused myself. It was unanimous. And Shane, at age 40, became the youngest 7th Dan in a mainline Shotokan Japanese association. That, in brief, are his achievements. What can I say? Am I proud of him? Of course. Firstly, I'm proud of him as his father. But secondly, I'm proud of him as being the finest student I have had in my 53 years that I have been teaching. I now look forward to Shane having a son and seeing whether he can do the same for him. Well done, Shane, and 40 more years.